Episode number 30. And I will send you back to your math book, Master Ab. Draw, if you please, and instantly. Not so, if you please, my good friend, not here, at least. Do you not perceive that we are opposite the Hotel d'Aguilon, which is full of the cardinal's creatures? How do I know that this is not his eminence who has honored you with the commission to procure my head? Now, I entertain a ridiculous partiality for my head. It seems to suit my shoulders so correctly. I wish to kill you, be at rest as to that, but to kill you quietly in a snug, remote place, where you will not be able to boast of your debt to anybody. I agree, monsieur, but do not be too confident. Take your handkerchief. Whether it belongs to you or another, you may perhaps stand in need of it. Monsieur is a Gascon? Asked Aramis. Yes. Monsieur does not postpone an interview through prudence. Prudence, monsieur, is a virtue sufficiently useless to musketeers, I know, but indispensable to churchmen, and as I am only a musketeer provisionally, I hold it good to be prudent. At 2 o'clock I shall have the honor of expecting you at the hotel of Monsieur de Treville. There I will indicate to you the best place and time. The two young men bowed and separated. Aramis ascending the street, which led to the Luxembourg, while D'Artagnan, perceiving the appointed hour was approaching, took the road to the Camps des Strokes, saying to himself, "Decidedly I can't draw back, but at least, if I am killed, I shall be killed by a musketeer." 5. The King's Musketeers and the Cardinal's Guards. D'Artagnan was acquainted with nobody in Paris. He went therefore to his appointment with Athos without a second, determined to be satisfied with those his adversary should choose. Besides, his intention was formed to make the brave musketeer all suitable apologies, but without meanness or weakness, fearing that might result from this duel, which generally results from an affair of this kind, when a young and vigorous man fights with an adversary who is wounded and weakened. If conquered, he doubles the triumph of his antagonist. If a conqueror, is accused of foul play and want of courage. Now, we must have badly painted the character of our adventure seeker, or our readers must have already perceived that D'Artagnan was not an ordinary man. Therefore, while repeating to himself that his death was inevitable, he did not make up his mind to die quietly, as one less courageous and less restrained might have done in his place. He reflected upon the different characters of those with whom he was going to fight, and began to view his situation more clearly. He hoped, by means of low excuses, to make a friend of Athos, whose lordly and austere bearing pleased him much. He flattered himself he should be able to frighten Porthos with the adventure of the baldric, which he might, if not killed upon the spot, relate to everybody a recital which, well managed, would cover Porthos with ridicule. As to the astute Aramis, he did not entertain much dread of him, and supposing he should be able to get so far, he determined to dispatch him in good style, or at least, by hitting him in the face, as Caesar recommended his soldiers do to those of Pompey, to damage forever the beauty of which he was so proud.